What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another reverse 1999 video. All right, guys, gonna do another showcase today, and I think this is a very important one because a lot of people are not focusing on support units enough, and I think this specific support unit can be used on any team that you want to build because it is a universal unit that can be used on 5-star teams, 6-star teams, mental, reality. It doesn't really matter what you want, what you need. This unit can do it all for you, specifically for survivability, and that's none other than Nick Bottoms himself. So let me talk about Nick real quick and what makes him a very, very good unit and something that you guys should consider building no matter what your account is. Don't let those people tell you that 4-star units will eventually die out and will not be enough. I agree to some extent with DPS especially, that's true, but for support, I think these units are going to be viable for a very, very long time, especially units like Nick Bottom. So let's talk about Nick. He is a beast unit. He's obviously got himself a lot of support abilities, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well too. In terms of attacks, he is a mental damage dealing attack dealer, hence why you see the little brain there near Nick Bottoms. He is a 4-star unit. Let's talk about his actual insights. In the dust, when the caster dies, HP plus the target's max HP times 50% for the ally with the lowest HP. So when he does die, he heals somebody up quite a bit. And then his insight 2, reality defense and mental defense plus 10 when the caster enters the battle. Now that one is very, very important, and I'm going to explain why according to his kit. Now let's talk about his skills. Here's what makes Nick really, really good, okay? First off, his Midsummer Vine. It is a buff that is going to keep your units alive for a very long time. Reality defense and mental defense plus 40% and damage taken minus 40% for that specific target for 3 rounds. If you go to the 3-star, you're looking at 35% for the 2-star and 30%, which is nothing to scoff at, for 2 rounds at the 1-star level. This here for 2 rounds will make your DPS or your support or your tanks take almost like obscene amount of little damage, right? So this buff alone is worth having him on the team. Now to add to that, he also brings a little bit of utility at the 2-star level and the 3-star level. He does remove 1 and 2 Moxie with his Wild Rose mental damage move. So if you are looking for a total package of support, he does also remove Moxie, including giving you the defense that you need to survive. And then lastly, his ultimate, which is a little unique in its own. I'm going to explain why it's unique, and I'll show you guys in a battle why it's worth having. He gives one target a mass shield that purifies all stats down, negative status, and control. The ally gains HP lost from him at 150% as a shield. So Nick Bottoms loses his remaining HP and then gives the unit and purifies the unit of all negative stats, gives the unit a shield worth 150% of his lost HP, and then enters Summer Dream status for 3 rounds. Now, Summer Dream status is immune to stats down, negative stats, control status, and damage taken reduced by 20%, and plus 1 Moxie when a round starts. So this is a total package buff. Of course, the caveat is Nick loses all of his HP except for 1, so it is important to make sure that after he does this, there is a heal standing by to bring him back up. This can be done multiple times during a round. I'll show you guys with the UTT U30 battle how it works and why it's so important to help you stay alive. Okay, here for his portrays, go through this. His Portray 1 increases the shield, loses his HP by 125% on all allies. So this shield is very useful. Effect of his actual damage increases with Wild Rose to 450%, 220, 280, 450. Midsummer Vine changes the reality and mental defense to 30, 35, and 40%. That's what you guys currently see. Then you see the 150 here HP loss, and then if you get to level 5, it's 175% HP loss. So even a bigger shield based on the amount of HP he has lost. So the portrays are actually very useful for him, but of course, not a necessity. For resonant purposes, he's a support unit. I build him with resonant 7. That's as far as he needs to go. Damage reduction is pretty important. Defense is obviously very important. And then, of course, having a high set of HP so that shield gets bigger and bigger. So those are the major things. Now, let's go in and talk about his kit. So I'm going to go in and do the UTT 30 replay that I've done for you guys in the past, but I'm going to really focus not on Pavia, which is where a lot of the focus has been, but it's going to be more on Nick Bottoms and how he does help every battle in this game possible. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the setup here. So this is the team that I'm running. I ran Pavia, Twin Sleeps, Lasource, and Nick Bottoms. Nick is a very crucial part of this fight, and I'm going to explain to you guys why. You'll see how the special works and why it works really well. So here you can see we're just doing regular attacks, so we'll speed this part up so it goes through quick, but we're going to slow down the next one, okay, because this buff is going to matter. Now, you see here he's got 2 buffs available. So look at the damage here, 1,280, right? Look, whoever he targets will get this buff now, and this buff now will reduce the amount of damage by 30%, not only by mental reality, but also damage reduction is increased by 30% here as well. So rather than taking a full-on blast, we'll take him down to nothing. Pavia only takes probably a third of the damage that he would normally have. Now you can see here, he's got it on himself. So switch over, put the buff back on him. This time it's level 2 buff, so it's 35%, and you'll see how little damage Nick Bottoms actually does take because of that beautiful buff intact. You can see your 2 rounds, right? He's got everything on there. Now watch the hit, and look at that, 2,257 only. Normally that would hit close to about 5 to 6k, reducing that quite drastically. Now you see the special is up now. We're going to hold off till the next round when Pavia gets hit. Now watch the damage difference when you don't have the buff, right? Look how much Twin Sleeps takes damage-wise. You'll see very shortly. Okay, let's pull this off. Okay, it's coming up right now. Okay, watch how much damage this does. If you had look at that 5,000, that would have been probably about 3k instead if we had Nick Bottoms buff. Now you can see here Nick Bottoms going to do the special. You go, like I said, you want to heal afterwards, right? Now watch what happens. The remaining HP gets lost, but look at Pavia's shield. He's got the immunity and the shield for 4 rounds. Now the reason why it's 4 rounds here is because Nick, we did the ultimate card for +1 round, so giving me a little bit more time. But look at this. Look at that. Almost no damage at all. The shield's still up nicely, right? So very, very cool to have that. Now Nick doesn't die in this battle, making it a little bit harder to show you how his death gives you more HP. But you guys can see here the buff again will be provided onto himself just to keep him alive. And this is a great method for him to continuously cast his ultimate on any unit, right? Like he does it on himself. Now if he does get targeted with the AoE or a single target damage, he barely takes any. Now look at the beauty here. Pavia does not get affected by sense weakness, right? So the ultimate by Eagle doesn't get casted at all. So that's Nick Bottoms' ultimate, providing you with immunity to all negative statuses. So this is another great way to play a good tactic on this fight especially, right? And here, if they had Moxie, you would have reduced the Moxie if it was 2 stars. So here, Nick Bottoms has his ultimate back up. Look at that, 440 damage there, barely a scratch on him. And now he can cast it again on Pavia, get another heal, and continuously doing this all the time through every round. Now this is a fantastic method, guys, to beating really difficult content with low star characters or high star characters. Doesn't matter. Having Nick Bottoms on any team will raise the survivability by a ton. You guys will see a massive difference. And I know a lot of people don't like to use him because, let's just be real, he's a donkey holding flowers with you know, looks like he's from a Shakespearean play. But quite honestly, don't let a book, don't judge a book by its cover. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, right? He does bring so much to the fold, and I really do think, guys, he has a place in everyone's team. I think Nick Bottoms is easily one of the best supports in the game for that reason. And even if you plan to replace him eventually, I think he'll last you for quite a long time and help you beat some of that really hard content that your DPS is dying on. All right, guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.